Okay, Tyler, to wrap today's show, I'll hit you with some buy, sell, or hold. I'll give you the hold option as well because I am such a nice, kind, and generous host, as everyone always calls me. So I've got 4 teams for you. I did mention these to you ahead of recording the show. Buy, sell, or hold as a national championship contender in 2026. I'm going to start with the Indiana Hoosiers. Buy, sell, or hold?
I'm going to buy them. Much to the surprise of some of the Indiana fans who were in my mentions and even my DMs over the past week, because
you found them?
Yeah, man, they're not hard to find, let me tell you.
They're fun.
They will find you. You could say something like, wow, no coming back from that one in response to Curt Cignetti's comments about Notre Dame. I thought I was being so clearly sarcastic, making fun of that joke as if Notre Dame was never going to be able to recover from a joke about the conference. But either way, as much as their fans might annoy me on social media, that team is stacked. I am a believer in Hoover. I know that there are some questions about him. He's been turnover prone for sure. I get that. But, was anyone expecting Fernando Mendoza to do what he ended up doing in his one and only year at IU? We had the same, maybe not the same questions about Mendoza, but we had questions about what he was going to be able to do. The number one thing in that offense is you have to be able to run the RPO effectively. Behind Fernando Mendoza last year, the quarterback who ran the most RPO was Josh Hoover. So I think he's going to be a perfect fit in that offense. They have great wide receivers. They got Nick Marsh, a player that Notre Dame really wanted. They get Becker back. I think they're going to be really physical on both the offensive and defensive line. Once again, I know they lost a lot, but look, until Curt Cignetti has a bad year, I'm just going to assume they're going to be up there at the top. The schedule's a little bit more difficult. They've had some pretty fortunate injury luck along the way, except for when their defensive tackle, I think he broke his foot last year. Or
jumping up. I think he hyperextended his knee. Maybe
and now he's back on the team.
He's back for a 5th year after he had 19 TFLs, which is an unconscionably high number. Stephen Daly is the guy that you're referring to there. So, yeah, I'm with you on buying Indiana, and man, the anti-rat poison. So I guess it'd be rat food or something of that nature.
Cheese.
Cheese.
It's cheese.
No, that's a mouse. I'm sure a rat would eat it too.
Yeah.
I just know that in Tom and Jerry, Jerry is definitely a mouse, So anyway, the anti-rat poison is Indiana goes 16-0. The last team to beat them was Notre Dame, who went to the national championship game. And Indiana comes in number 6 in the AP poll. I heard this point get made as well, which I thought was a good way of putting it. You realize what being at number 6 in the AP poll means? The AP poll is an aggregate average of everything. So of all the folks, there are dozens that vote on the AP poll or that have a vote for that top 25. That means there were folks that were putting Indiana below 6 going into the year.
Do they have the chart? I know that they usually post
I've seen the chart, and I should have checked before this segment what the lowest someone put right Indiana now. Was.
I was surprised to see them as low as
6.
They are.
I can get behind not number 1 because they lost their quarterback, sure. But 6? You're telling me people put them at 8 or 10? Guys, what are we doing?
I also don't understand, too, and I wish there was some more clarity on this. When people rank their preseason polls, are you projecting where you think they are going to finish? Or is it, this is how good I think they are right now relative to all the other teams in college football? Because I think there is a pretty distinct difference between those two schools of thought there. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Indiana finishes number 6. That's not crazy. But to have the defending champions, even though they lost a bunch, they had one of the best transfer classes in college football again. They should be in the top 5. I was pretty surprised to see Georgia at 3. I think Georgia's a really good team. They could win the national championship. But 3? I don't know. That seemed a little bit high for me.
I actually thought Notre Dame was a little high at 4. Now, that was the AP poll for those watching on YouTube. That was the AP poll and where things landed. But you see, Tyler, you asked a great question, which is, what is the reasoning everyone's using for these votes? Spencer's poll is based solely on what you have accomplished, which going into the year is last season and the off season put together. And they are more, I weigh them certainly more on what you did last season. But if you have a dramatic off season like Duke losing Darian Mensah and Cooper Barkay last year, and they don't know who their starting quarterback's going to be right now going into fall camp, yeah, that's a significantly bad offseason. LSU, significantly great offseason. Add Lane Kiffin, bring in a great transfer portal class. But I didn't put LSU at number 11. I have LSU there at number 20 because they would otherwise be unranked if they'd brought in a top 20, maybe even top 10 portal class, but they brought in a ridiculous amount of talent. They already had some, so I give them some benefit of the doubt, but not as much as others in there. So that's how I approach the top 25 poll. But I want to continue, unless you have a burning thought on the top 25 that you have to share there.
Not on the AP top 25. I saw your top 25.
Go ahead.
You have Notre Dame at 13. You have Bama at 9.
Well, Notre Dame did not make the playoff last year.
Yeah, but it's a different season. And there's
in some respect, how come that only applies in the positive? You know, hey, we have CJ Carr returning. Well, yeah, that's a really good thing. Look at all the stuff that we have coming back.
Okay, put it back up then.
but last year when you had a lot of those same pieces, it still didn't get there. This is what based on what you have accomplished, not based on my own personal projection. If I were doing personal projection, I would have Notre Dame ahead of Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is going to drop off this year, but I'm not in the business of making my own personal projections or subjective opinion about a team important to the rankings. I think it should be about what actually happens on the field.
Okay. Like I said, different schools of thought for the preseason poll.
Yes, exactly. I do it differently than everybody else. Speaking of buy, sell, or hold, the team that I have number 6 in my preseason and the AP poll has at number 9, the Ole Miss Rebels. Do you buy, sell, or hold them as a national title contender?
As you know, I'm buying Trinidad Chambliss in every way imaginable. I think that Ole Miss is going to put up a bunch of points this season, even though they lost Lane Kiffin. I really like Chambliss. I'm not going to buy them as a national championship contender just yet. I don't think they're a super well-rounded team. I do think that there is going to be a bit of a transition period. And I understand that they lost Lane Kiffin and then they still went on a deep run of the college football playoff. That win over Georgia was one of the most exciting college football games I have seen in some time. But I think there's a lot more that goes into it, the offseason, the structure, and everything. We just don't really know how good of a head coach Pete Golding is going to be. I think it's a lot easier to keep the train on the tracks when you still have the whole team together and you've already kind of gone through a season and then you're just kind of playing new teams, tough teams, and you're able to win the games. That's a huge accomplishment. I don't want to diminish that at all because I was rooting for Ole Miss every step of the way last year. I thought it'd be the funniest thing in the world if they won a national championship. So been amazing. To the Rebel fans out there, I wanted you to succeed. So do not take it personally when I say I'm just selling you as a national championship right now because there are a lot of unknowns, not just about the roster, even though they are very talented. They bring back Lacey. They have Chambliss. Like I said, they're going to put up a ton of points. But how does Pete Golding fare as the CEO of a massive organization for a full year? There's a lot that goes into it, and just right now, I don't think they have enough talent to sort of make up for all of those questions I have outside of just what they have on the roster.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I have Ole Miss at 9-3 this year, fringe playoff team. I love their backfield; it's the best in college football. But I have the same reservations and hesitation about picking them to go back. I think they're one of the playoff teams that doesn't get back into the field this year. So I'm with you that that's a sell. I'll lump these last two together because they have a distinct similarity in that they spend as much money as humanly possible, it seems, at this point in time. LSU and Texas Tech. Buy, sell, or hold on national title contenders. I'll tell you right now, I am a double sell.
I'm leaning towards double sell. I will give LSU the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say I'll hold on them. I understand they spent over $40 million on the roster. They also probably spent close to that the year before. We all saw how that worked out. But no, granted, that was Brian Kelly. This is Lane Kiffin. I am skeptical about Sam Levitt. Let's put it that way. I think he flashed in moments. He was brilliant at times for Arizona State. How is he going to fare against some of the defenses that they will face this season on a consistent basis? Like, there's no doubt that Sam Leavitt is going to make some plays that make you go, wow, like, he's really, really good. He's really fun to watch. But he's also going to make some plays you're like, why? What was that? And I understand that there are a lot of quarterbacks who are capable of doing that. I just there are so many new faces on that roster. There's so many new faces on the staff. I just can't say, oh yeah, they're definitely going to win a national championship. But I also don't want to write them off prematurely. I'll hold them. Texas Tech, selling them. It's really easy. I don't believe in their quarterback situation or their offense, and it's probably going to look a lot like last year.
I like Will Hammond. I don't know if Will Hammond's a massive upgrade from Baron Morton, who was good last year, but their offense obviously was nowhere near good enough. Their defense was championship caliber, but their offense was simply not. On the LSU, I'm in the sell category. Not that I don't think they can be good, but I don't think it's reasonable to expect any coach in year one to turn something around like that and make them a national title contender. And I also look at Sam Leavitt with the same sort of reservations. West Lynn kid. Maybe if you went to Lake Oswego. I don't know if you get that.
Some high school lore.
That is some high school lore. If anybody out there
dies.
Understands that, then shoot me a message and let's become best friends. But the other thing with Leavitt, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy for the entire season. And is Hassan Longstreet a guy that can step in and Cardale Jones this thing, or JT Barrett back from back in the day at Ohio State? I don't know. And I haven't seen, because no one has, a significant or any football from Hassan Longstreet. And like, I'm with you on Leavitt. Leavitt is good, but Leavitt, was graded as a 5-star quarterback transfer. I was like, I don't know about that. Like, he should be a 4-star like he was coming out of high school, and he's good, and you can clearly go win games with him. I can give you 3 quarterbacks that transferred this offseason I'd rather have than Sam Leavitt.
I don't even think he was Lane Kiffin's first choice.
No, because remember, they tried to go get Damon Williams from Washington.
Exactly. Like,
they kicked the tires on Brendan Sorsby. They tried to get Damon Williams from Washington, and then they wound up with Sam Leavitt, who's good, but it's like, well...
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was the report that they were in conversations, they were trying to poach Williams from Washington, did that happen while Leavitt was on campus, or maybe it was Sorsby?
No, I think they were kind of putting Leavitt in a holding pattern, was what I came to understand, is they were kind of like, hey, we're looking at somebody else, but if this doesn't work out, we'll go to you. And by the way, Damon Williams, good player, major questions in big games, struggled against every major defense he played against last year, so has to level up. He's capable. He has not done it yet. And Lane Kiffin was saying, I'll take you over Sam Leavitt. So I like Sam Leavitt. I don't know about I don't think Sam Leavitt's hoisting a national championship trophy this year.
Real quick before we go, how many teams do you think are capable of winning a national championship?
Of winning a national championship? Let me throw up 7. Just so I don't overlook anybody. So Indiana, yes. Miami, yes. Oregon, yes. Ohio State, yes. Georgia, yes.
Mine's pretty simple.
Notre Dame, yes. I'm hesitant on Texas. Texas A&M, Bama, Ole Miss, no. Texas Tech, no. USC, BYU, no. Michigan, no. Yeah, those 6. Those would be my 6.
Mine is pretty simple. I feel like everyone in the top 7 of the AP poll, I could realistically see winning the national championship. The one that I am probably the least high on in that group is Georgia, just because
I like
you
Georgia
like Gunnar Stockton a lot more than I do.
I do.
That's the difference.
Yep. I'm with you there. That's Tyler Wojciak, Locked On Irish. Great as always. Appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next time, and until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.